Well, praise the Lord and good morning and welcome to Daily Scriptures. This is July 22nd. We'll begin in Ezra 5:1 to Ezra 6:22. Then the prophet Haggai and Zechariah the son of Iddo, prophets, prophesied to the Jews who were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel who were over them. So Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua the son of Jozadak rose up and began to build the house of God which is in Jerusalem, and the prophets of God were with them, helping them. At the same time, Tanel, the governor of the region beyond the river of Shalthar-Banzai, and their companions came to them and spoke thus to them, who has commanded you to build this temple and finish this wall. And accordingly they told them the names of the men who were constructing this building. But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, so that they could not make them cease till a report could go to Darius. Then a written answer was returned concerning this matter. This is a copy of the letter that he sent. The governor of the region beyond the river, and Shethar-Banzai and his companions, the Persians who were in the region beyond the river, to Darius the king. They sent a letter to him in which was written thus: To Darius the king, all peace. Let it be known to the king that we went into the province of Judea to the temple of the great God, which is being built with heavy stones and timber, is being laid in the walls, and this work goes on diligently and prospers in their hands. Then we asked those elders, and spoke thus to them: Who commanded you to build this temple and to finish these walls? We also asked them their names to inform you, that we might write the names of them who were chief among them. And thus they returned us an answer, saying, We are the servants of God of heaven and earth. We are rebuilding a temple that was built many years ago, with a great king of Israel, built and completed. But because our fathers provoked the God of heaven to wrath, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this temple and carried the people away to Babylon. However, in the year of Cyrus, king of Babylon, the king Cyrus issued a decree to build this house of God. Also the gold and silver articles of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the temple that was in Jerusalem and carried into the temple of Babylon, those of King Cyrus took from the temple of Babylon, and they were given to one named Sheshbazzar, whom he had made governor. And he said to them, Take these articles, go, carry them to the temple site that is in Jerusalem, and let the house of God be rebuilt on its former site. Then the same Sheshbazzar came and laid the foundation of the house of God which is in Jerusalem, but from that time until even now it has been under construction and is not finished. Therefore, if it seems good to the king, let a search be made in the king's treasure house, which is there in Babylon, whether it is so that a decree was issued by King Cyrus to build this house of God at Jerusalem, and let the king send us his pleasure concerning this matter. Then King Darius issued a decree, and a search was made in the archives where the treasures were stored in Babylon. And at Achmethia in the palace that is in the province of Media, a scroll was found, and in it a record was written thus: In the first year of King Cyrus issued a decree concerning the house of God in Jerusalem. Let the house be rebuilt, the place where it is offered sacrifices, And let the foundations of it be firmly laid, its height 60 cubits, and his width 60 cubits, with 3 rows of heavy stones, 1 row of new timber. Let the expenses be paid from the king's treasury. Also let the gold and silver articles of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took from the temple which is in Jerusalem, and brought to Babylon, be restored and taken back to the temple which is in Jerusalem, each to its place, and deposit them in the house of God. Now therefore, Tattenai, governor of the region beyond the river, and Shethar-Banzai and your companions, the Persians who are beyond the river, keep yourselves far from there. Let the work of this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews build this house of God on its site. Moreover, I issue a decree as to what you shall do for the elders of these Jews, for the building of this house of God. Let the cost be paid at the king's expense and from taxes on the region beyond the river. This is to be given immediately to these men, so that they may not be hindered. And whatever they need, young bulls, rams, and lambs for the burnt offerings of the house for the God of heaven, wheat, salt, wine, oil, and according to the request of the priests who are in Jerusalem, let it be given them on day by day without fail, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet aroma to the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and his sons. I also issue a decree, that whoever alters this edict, let a timber be pulled from his house and erected, and let him be hanged on it, and let his house be made a refuge heap because of this. And may the God who causes his name to dwell there destroy any king or people who put their hand to alter it, or to destroy this house of God which is in Jerusalem. I, Darius, issued a decree. Let it be done diligently. Then the governor beyond the river, Shethar-Banzai, and their companions diligently did according to what King Darius had said. So the elders of the Jews built, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. And they built and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the command of Cyrus, Darius, and Xerxes, the king of Persia. Now the temple was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of King Darius. Then the children of Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the rest of the descendants of the captivity, celebrated the dedication of this house of God with joy. And they offered sacrifices at the dedication of this house of God: 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and as a sin offering for all of Israel, 12 male goats according to the number of the tribes of Israel. They assigned the priests to their divisions and the Levites to their divisions over the service of God in Jerusalem, as is written in the book of Moses. And the descendants of the captivity kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month. For the priests and the Levites had purified themselves. All of them were ritually clean, and they slaughtered the Passover lambs for all the descendants of captivity, for their brethren and the priest, and for themselves. Then the children of Israel who had returned from the captivity ate together with all who had separated themselves from the filth of the generations of the land, in order to seek the Lord God of Israel. And they kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, and for the Lord made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria toward them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Psalms 87, 1-7. His foundation is in the holy mountains. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are spoken of you, O city of God. I will make mention of Rahab and of Babylon to those who know me. Behold, O Philistia and Tyre, with Ethiopia. This one was born there. And of Zion it will be said, This one and that one were born in her. And the Most High himself shall establish her, and the Lord will record, when he registers the peoples. This one was born here. This one was born there. Both the singers and the players on instruments say, All my springs are in you. Proverbs 21:19 and 20. Better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. There is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. Acts 23:1-15. Then Paul, looking earnestly at the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded that those who stood by him to strike him on the mouth. Then Paul said to him, God will strike you, you whitewashed wall, for you sit to judge me according to the law, and do you command me to be struck contrary to the law? And those who stood by and said, Do you revile God's high priest? Then Paul said, I did not know, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, You shall not speak evil of a ruler of your people. But when Paul perceived that one part were Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee. Concerning the hope and resurrection of the dead, I am being judged. And when he had said this, a dissension arose between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the assembly was divided. For Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, and no angel or spirit, but Pharisees confess both. Then there arose a loud outcry, and the scribes of the Pharisees' party arose and protested, saying, We find no evil in this man. But if a spirit or an angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against God. Now, when there arose a great dissension, the commander, fearing lest Paul might be pulled into pieces by them, commanded the soldiers to go down and take him by force from among them, and bring him into the barracks. But the following night the Lord stood by him and said, Be of good cheer, Paul, for as you have testified for me in Jerusalem, you must also bear witness in Rome. And when it was day, some of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under an oath, saying that they would go neither eat nor drink until they had killed Paul. Now there was more than 40 who had formed this conspiracy. They came to the chief priests and elders and said, We have bound ourselves under an oath that we will not eat nothing until we have killed Paul. Now you therefore, together with the council, suggest to the commander that he be brought down to you tomorrow, as though you were going to make further inquiries concerning him. But we are ready to kill him before he comes near. Thank you, folks, for being with us, and we'll see you tomorrow.